Peter Boolkah here, and welcome to today's edition of the Transition Guy. Now, today's episode, I want to look at people plans. Now, when speaking to my clients, and over the last 3 months we've been doing various offsites with a number of clients, the common theme seems to be that everybody wants to focus on their strategy for 2018. When speaking to my clients and saying to them, okay, well, what does a strategy look like? They want to do all this big, exciting stuff. Like they need to have this really crazy plan for super hyper growth over the next year or 2 years. So first question I asked them was, well, do you really have a revenue issue? i.e., are you growing more than 20% per annum? And in most cases, the answer was yes. In fact, some of these companies are working sort of so fast. They're growing so fast. I mean, we're talking about 30-40% revenue growth per year. Where when you've got that kind of incremental growth, strategy is not your biggest problem. And then when we did boil it down, guess what the biggest challenge that most businesses today face? It's a people problem. And when speaking to them, guess what they say? They say, hey, I don't have enough people in the business, or I don't have the right quality of people in the business. Now, when people becomes your biggest strategy, your biggest problem, that's what you focus on for the year. You don't need to do any of the other sort of sexy stuff that really looks good, but may not be appropriate at this moment in time. And the exercise we did with the clients really was actually working out what does that people plan need to look like. And I'm a great fan of doing organizational charts. If you've never done one for your organization, you need to go and do one. But more importantly, when you do the organization chart, always, especially if you're a high growth business, I always say do one 1 year in advance, 2 years in advance, and 3 years in advance. So what we did is for the whole 2018, we did an organization chart that would be exactly 12 months from today. So what would the organization look like at the end of 2018 based on our revenue projections? And what was interesting that when we did this exercise, quite a number of positions all of a sudden appeared. Good. And with some of the clients, it's maybe 5 or 6 positions. The next question I asked my client was, okay, now we need these positions. When were you planning to hire them? And in 90% of the cases, they were planning to hire these people at the tail end of 2018. So we're talking about the October, November, December, because that's when in their head, they kind of associated that's where the business was going to be, and that's when we were going to need the people. But the reality is, when you do hiring in the business, you need to get the people in before you hire them. Yeah, so you've got to take a few factors into consideration when making important key hiring decisions. Number one, the role that you're trying to fill. How long will it take us to recruit in that position? So you can imagine the interviewing process and everything. Once you've got them through the interviews, the first stage, the second stage, etc., to the final stage, it's probably going to take you up to what, 8 weeks, maybe even 12 weeks. And if that person's really good, well, they may have a 3-month notice period, because anyone that's got any sense right now, you would tie in your top performers into at least a 90-day notice period, because otherwise you're just going to be left high and dry. So if it takes 2 months to actually go through the process and get someone, and they've got then a 3-month notice period, well, that's already 5 months before they can start. And in a lot of my sort of clients' examples, what would happen is these are quite key roles. So we're sort of thinking, okay, do you know what, it's going to take 3 months for us to find this person and 3 months for them to sort of give their notice period. All of a sudden, we're in June. We're in June before these people start. What we're going to do for the first 6 months of the year is going to be quite interesting. And then you've got to ask yourself the question, well, how long will it take this person to be really productive? You know what it's like. You hire a new person, you bring them on board. You're not necessarily, you'd love to get the best out of them, straight away, but you're not necessarily going to get the best out of them straight away, which means there's going to be a period of adjustment, a period for them to get used to our systems, our processes, our way of doing things, and that could be anything from 1 to 3 months. Now, if we really start the process today, we're looking at these people being absolutely on fire, highly productive, giving massively back to the organisation around September time. Maybe a bit longer than that, maybe September, October time. So can you imagine that it really does take that long to get your team in place? So if you're looking at your team now and you're thinking, okay, I haven't done a people plan, you need to do a people plan. Because I tell you, once we've done this exercise with my clients, they've been putting the jobs up straight away. Because by December next year, these people don't need to be just hired, they need to be productive, contributing and allowing us to go into the following year from a position of strength, not a position of weakness. So, top tip, you need to do 3 things. So you've got 3 top tips here. Number 1, you need to do that organisation chart. You need to get the positions that you don't have filled clearly listed. You then got to look and work out, how long will it really take me to hire this person, get this person trained and get them truly productive. And the third thing is you need to act on it. So if you don't act on it now, by the time you do act on it, you do get that person in, you're going to be hiring from a position of desperation, because you're going to be so busy, you're not going to have the time to train them, you're not going to have the time to settle them, it's just going to be trauma. And when you hire someone in a traumatic situation, you're never going to get the best out of them. I've seen it time and time again. Now, do you have a plan for 2018? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Do you know what to do? Are you confident? Would you like some help? If you're interested in getting the people plan for 2018 into place, head over to Boolkah.com and get in touch. And remember, failing to learn is learning to fail.